Alrighty then. Fuck, my controller's off, son of a bitch. Setup is slightly different for me. I'm streaming from my other monitor. Really, just because I feel like leaning the other way today. So, have to let me know how I can just do this. That should do the audio perfectly fine. Sweet. You know, ooh. I really like the bikes in the games because they're really fun, right? But I do not like the bike music, how it overrides the music you're already got going on. I don't know. Like, I just prefer, like, if I know I'm gonna be like in a like in a route for a little bit, I'll like get on my bike the route before and then go in so that I have the route music going on and not the biking music. You know what I'm saying? What's up, cat? Where the fuck am I fighting this Torpal? Whatever. Damn, that is straight up every couple of steps. Let me change this shit. There you go, that looks better. I did not think it would change in correspondence to monitor size. That's interesting. Holy fucking shit, I'm gonna go buy repels. This is ridiculous. Please leave me alone. Okay, come the fuck on, let me... Items. Give me items. I can only buy 6. This is super repels. Oh, I have some? Let's go 5 and 5 then. Oh, I did buy that. Yeah, let me check the herb shop. Get 8. Let's go 3. 3. What's up? Let me sell some shite. Nugget. Goodbye. Pretty good day so far. Now it's coming down to an end here. What about you? This can go, this can go, this can go. Right now it is. I play Bleakest Keep once in a while, and I might go into another game. It's usually just I have 2 games that I'm enjoying, and like I have this one set to stream just because, or on the schedule just because I know it's really pretty easy, really pretty calm. But once this one finishes, I'll plan on playing another Pokemon game. Might play something else. We'll have to see. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard. What are you fucking cats doing? Pacific Standard Time. So, not every day, but 4 to 7. Not bad. You can ask it. I definitely reserve the right to not answer questions, but I will. I don't think there's anything I could think of that would be something I wouldn't mind answering. But then again, I have been surprised before. Because I do not know how to. I plan to figure that out. I'm taking it one step at a time. This is 3rd month streaming, technically. Like, I did, like, here or there, like, when I had time beforehand, but, like, this is my 3rd month of really kind of getting into it, so I'm still, like, figuring everything out. Plus, like, the art and everything, I kind of, well, my model and everything else is made by me. So it's not just like, hey, can I commission you for some art? No, I think I'm okay. Again, like I was saying, how the fuck did Carnivore get out? That's a crazy roll. I kind of do everything myself. Because I'd like to learn it, and Are you... How the fuck does that keep happening? Okay, I'm gonna do this one more time, or I'm gonna scream. Do not roar. Thank you. You are dead now. So if I were to kind of like add like a custom banner, custom logos, custom all that stuff, it wouldn't just be like, you know, I go to my job, I get done, and I have a couple hours before I stream. It would be in that time I'd also be working on it. So it's a little bit harder for me to find the time to do it, as well as like learning how to do it. But I'm slowly going towards it. Oh, fuck, I got a cat hair in my eye, son of a bee. All you had was a normal big dude? That's kind of fucking sad. This girl's hair, the way it like hangs on her shoulders, like I get it, it's like, you know, parted in the back and it hangs on her shoulders, you know, like it's like pigtails. It always just looked like this sprite had a beard. I don't know, man. Also, I've got like black hair but brown hair in the sprite, the sprite version of the model. I feel like I've noticed that before, but I didn't really care. Well, if I hit, you're super dead. I'm gonna hit. Oh. Beautiful. I'm gonna go kill some other trainers before I deal with y'all. Just to yell in here. So many hotel by the frick. Oh, there's. Ancient power, like, the rocks always look a little odd to me. Almost like, almost kind of like overly detailed. Like, they almost look like, not quite like food, but like they don't look like rocks, you know? I always found them weird. Kind of chicken nugget shaped too. Hmm. Oh, I really can't only go this way. Alright, damn. Alright, I'll go. Yeah, that's fine. Fuck. Right, I say that shit. Oh my gosh. Hey, my gosh. There goes my phone. What the fuck is in this fucking here? Well, I'll just go do now because I did not get fucking dick for sleep last night taking photos of the moon. The moon. And now when I say boss, I don't mean like, you know, big boss completely control my salary. I'm a government worker. Bosses don't have nearly that much power as they do in the private sector, as well as that, like, I also just don't give a shit. Even if he did, I'd be like, oh cool, that's crazy. By the way, what the fuck? But they're like, blah blah blah. Like, oh no, I am tired, you know. Like, I did stay up till 4 a.m. last night to get some moon photos. You know, I had work the next day at 8. And, like, oh, did you get some photos of it? I'm like, yeah, I did. He goes, oh, you can text them to me. And I'm like, I'll pull them up right now. I do not feel like texting you photos. And he's like, oh, I won't upload them. I don't got social media, you know. You won't have to worry about me taking your credit. I'm like, taking, what the fuck are you, what are we talking about? And I show him, and I showed him the one that, I used for my starting soon screen. You know, it was right under, one of the lights on my street, so it kind of gets good contrast. It looked really, like, framed really nicely in the middle of this photo with the tree branches going around it, and I was like, oh, this is a cool photo, you know? It's a sick photo. Pretty basic photo, but it's a cool photo. Like, I like, oh yeah, here's one I thought would look really cool. He goes, why are there trees in the way? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean, why are there trees in the way? He goes, wouldn't you just take a photo of just the moon? I'm like, I have those too, but like, very much got the vibe of like, oh, look at this landscape I painted. And they're like, well, couldn't you have just taken a photo? It's just like, oh, that makes sense for how fucking stupid you are. That's unbelievable. You know, God bless him, but like, sorry. I don't have opportunity to grab my mouse. I apologize, so I couldn't mute properly. Forgetting I could just touch the microphone because it's got a mute button on it. I was like, what is happening? You know, it's just like the same people that like. It's one thing if they're like, oh, you know, not my deal, but whatever. It's the people that are like, I can't understand why you would ever blood anything even remotely artistic. It's just like, because it's fun. And I think it looks cool. It's the same people that like, and people will be like, well, that's an autistic thing. Like, no. Not remotely. Like, there are people who are diagnosed, and their thing, right, their, like, tism, if you will, is artistic things. They're like, I paint all the time, I can tell you everything about this painting, I can tell you everything about, like, you know, X, blah, 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 whatever, right? Why the fuck would you swire Gardevoir? Dumb shit. Anyways. You know, and it's just like an inability to comprehend things and to not take everything from within what they view. Oh, we got a little hop. Ah, it was just fucking stupid to me. It's just like, okay. It's like, again, same vibe as people who are like, where the fuck is this taking me? Like if you do something, like if I were to be like, oh, I do this, they would like give me shit about it, and not in like a friendly way, and like a you're an idiot way. But then it's like as soon as I got big, they would like see no reason to give me shit anymore. It's not the like, they don't understand there's like a process, and then they're like, well, either you're a starving artist or you're a famous artist. There's no point in ever like, you know, they don't understand that like every artist who was really good at one point was a starving artist, and that's a fine joke to make. I make that shit all the time, you know, because like it's really cool to be able to dump yourself into something like that and go for it 100%. But at the same time, you gotta like realize that like you gotta eat, fam. Like I would love to just like spend all day just like dicking around on the computer and streaming for you guys, but like I have to have a job. I have to have money. I got to have. How which I didn't have to fucking have, but I have to have a job. Right? I know, just weird vibes. A lot of small things coming together to really just paint a very large picture of someone who does not understand a whole lot about nuance. And refuses to believe there is information out there that they do not currently possess. And therefore that their way of doing things and thinking is right because they do not realize that there is possibly information they do not, again, possess. Like, you don't know what you don't know, but you can know you don't know. But those people, they're like, I don't know anything. Because I know everything. Oh, that phrasing might need to be reworked a little bit, but that's not bad. That phrasing could be better, but that might be the saying. Maybe if I reverse it. No, that ends up just sounding too plain. I'm writing this down. Don't know anything because they think they know everything. That's not really the point I'm trying to get across, though. I mean, kind of. Because the point that, like, they're so unable to see that there's things that they don't know, that they truly do not know anything. They refuse to believe they don't know everything, so they end up knowing nothing. Not bad, not bad. It's like, I think we're going a little too far, dog. Understandable. You gotta be like, hey man, this ain't good. I am uncomfortable. I had to do that with my friends, and we're still friends. What is up? I'm doing pretty good. I am very tired because I stayed up way too late last night taking photos of the moon. How are you doing? God, looks like they've got the weirdest fucking sideburns. I guess if they have black hair and the ear, or like dark blue hair, I think the reason they didn't made it brown is so like it didn't just blend into the rest of their uniform. You could actually see they have hair. That's probably it. Pause. A wedding? Like, you work at an event and that you helped set up a wedding? Or like, my wedding? Or like, a friend's wedding? I need a bit of context for that. Nice. Was it inside a church, or would they do some other venue? I'm guessing inside of a church. All I did was turn around and there's fucking geodudes, dude. Nice, nice. I've been to a couple weddings inside churches. I haven't been to a whole lot of weddings. I've been to... in my adult life, like 4 weddings. And one of them ended very poorly, so that was a real odd situation. I think mainly the weddings I went to when I was a kid were inside a church. And my cousin's was up on the mountain, like the little like receptionist area. My buddies might have been at a church. I just was not from that town, so I might not have recognized it. I had a psychics. That is deeply unfortunate. Oh, it'd be truly horrifying. Like, I already live in a place where you have to, like, actively worry about wildlife just wandering just in your yard. I'm not talking about, like, ooh, there's a bird, I'm talking about, like, you'll look in the backyard and be like, oh, I have to get my dog inside. There's a moose out there. There is a, like, 6+ like 2,000-pound creature out there, and I gotta get my dog inside. It'd be even more terrifying if it also meant the rocks would just punch you in the face. These are good for... Oh, give me a sec. Alright, I figured you don't want me sneezing into the mic. My goodness. God bless me. Whew. Nummel and Zubat. I should not have gotten... rid of Headbutt. Yeah. I think there is some where you'd be like, oh, that's just a weird creature, like Zubat. Like, oh, that's just a really big bat without eyes. That's just, oh, that's weird. But then, like, if you had, like, you know, Seviper. Well, I guess we do have actually really big snakes. That's not a good one. But Nummel, I guess, another one in front of me. And it's just like, oh yeah, this, like, small kind of, like, I don't even know, like, hippo type thing. Yeah, not to mention like really big like legendary Pokemon where you're like, oh, the sea god is upset again. I can't get to work. You know, it's like that. I think it was a Shin comic where they were just like, oh, my flight got delayed. Cthulhu's throwing a temper tantrum on the runway again. I won't make it. Yeah, that is a good point. It would just. It would just cost 20 as an accident a lot, wouldn't it? I think of like other non-legendaries that just like be crazy to have. I can't think of like a specific one. I think they would all just be insane. Okay, let's go. Lumi. Yeah, oh good. Are you gonna bring back? No, Swampy, that's fine. Yeah, they would definitely like do some weird stuff with it. I would definitely like. The only way I'm going is just like insurance scamming, where it's just like essentially like gentrified billionaire Pokemon mob protection, where it's like, oh man, the insurance is going up on your house. It'd be a shame if Lugia fucking caused a hurricane all of a sudden. I got some. I want to get this to level 36. Yeah, that's a fair point too. I mean, going back to the Viper, we also had Zangooses. Love Zangooses, by the way. That's how big those two are and how often they just like will just scrap for no reason. Yeah, I mean, I'm about to go. Am I supposed to Kyogre right? Not Kyogre. Groudon right now. Yeah, there's a lot of like. Pokemon that like have really intense rivalries. Like most, isn't most legendaries? Let me think. First one's didn't. Second one, no. Third, yes. Fourth, yes. Fifth, yes. Sixth, okay, yeah, most of them. Sometimes they work together, like in Sword and Shield, but for the most part, they just straight up don't like each other. Yeah, no box legendaries, especially not the set of them. Alright, what's up, Maxie? Yeah, it's like that one trainer from the Sinnoh League in the anime, where just like it's like here, a dark cry. It's just like, oh, you just have a nuclear bomb and a small Pokeball on your belt. What is happening here? My speed fell. I'm gonna go counter. I am going to go Mach Punch. So I hit you, you're returning to dust. I'm gonna get fucking slapped. I think you just have to like. Oh, if that, I'm gonna get outsped. Like the Pokemon like anime logic came into play, where it's like there's only one, and it's incredibly hard to get, and just kind of hope that prevented most of it. Because we know if like the rich assholes are the ones getting, especially like in the anime or comics, are the ones going after these like hyper expensive. That did not do enough damage. Hyper crazy Pokemon. They're not gonna allow like litigation against them doing that. Why is this Crobat so tanky? So it would probably have to be like an unspoken rule. I'm just gonna see if I can get a sing off. Gonna get out sped. Let's figure out what to do next. I keep wanting to go to summary and I keep breaking hit and send out, but I got Rock Slide, so it's fine. Well, at least I'm getting the super potions out now. Please. Thank you. Hold camera up. Why do you got Earthquake, dog? That's some bullshit. Whatever. I thought I was doing good for levels 2. Serves me right. I have more of them, so I can just throw them at any situation I get in. Escape rope. I always like that this is just like, just a fucking absolute climb. I can never remember if there's items here or not. I think that, well, in the anime, it's like, you know, a group of kids go to get it, and Oak's like, alright, I'm gonna give you your first Pokemon. You know, you're gonna help me with my research. Then he gets there and there's none left. But in, like, the manga, a lot of them have a Pokemon before, like, what is considered, like, a starter Pokemon is, like, received. Like, Red in the games has a Poliwhirl. And I can't remember what Blue has. I almost feel like saying it's not as a Golduck. You know. But there would probably be scenarios where you would have, how? I am almost out. Let me leave. There would be starter Pokemon. And there would be a few, like, bouncing around, floating around. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of people just have kind of whatever Pokemon. Unless you were, like, in a special situation where you had the ability to receive a starter Pokemon. Yeah, I think it also, like, depends on where you're from. Like, I am up north, so, like, if I get a starter, it's not gonna be, yeah, it's not gonna be a Litten, right? But I have, you know, as a good thought experiment, kind of gone through, like, alright, you know, if I had a Pokemon team in real life, not like, like a wish fulfillment, like, oh, these are all my favorite Pokemon, just straight up, like, based on the experiences I have had currently. My life going along a at least somewhat similar trajectory. What would my team end up being? Yeah, and I don't think... Oh yeah, I forgot I gotta do the submarine thing. But I just don't think everyone have a starter Pokemon, you know? Yeah, the anime's definitely got a lot of those, like, real crazy moments. You're like, oh, Ash is just built completely different. What's up, Archie? I'm trying to think what my favorite, like, anime moment is. I can't think of one. I did really like the entire Darkrai movie. I watched that when I was a kid a lot. I think considering both in games, in manga, and in anime, they can be caught. It's just really difficult, and a lot of times they don't stay caught for long. I think the answer would have to be technically yes, but it is weird to think about. Goblin meat is gonna be so strong after just murking all these Puchianas. Oh god, the warp pads. Used to play the Sim so much I had this route remembered. I do not have that unlock anymore. What's up? This is your job, keeping watch. You're not like, oh, keeping watch is boring. You're doing what you're... Now hold on. I know I said having brown hair with black for the magma grunts made sense. Why does the sprite have purple hair and the model have red hair? That seems like too much of an inconsistency. Well, that's fair, I guess. That's gotta be a real awkward question to try and phrase to Google. Up and around. So I have a little bit memorized. Yeah, let's have Swampy beat these electrodes. Oh, come on. Lame. Are you gonna do the same thing? Gonna go out like a bitch? Yup. Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. Also depends on like how much agency you want to give to them, because like some are like intelligent, but then like some are for sure not that intelligent. Like I don't know any media where like, you know, Heatran is anything other than like just like a primal entity, you know. Definitely Team Magma's uniforms are definitely a lot cooler. The striped shirts are a little goofy, I gotta be real. Rock Punch, Rock Slide. Oh, you're both dead now. That's gonna do a lot of damage. Oh good, it critted. Ugh. Intimidates all around on Rock Slide. Yeah. I think so, but also like how like cartoonishly evil do you have to be for Giratina to be like, oh yeah, this is the guy, you know? Yes, you come and take down. Or not actually. Strength is still there. God, I gotta get my ideas better moves. Yeah, that's fair. That is definitely a fair point. Let's go camera. But then, like, when they either die or fail what they're trying to do, is it kind of like a vassal thing where it's like, you know, I pick you, you have power, it didn't work out, whatever, let's move on to the next one type of deal? I want to go the other way. Yeah, Hitler Giratina was not a thought I would have crossed my mind. Not something I thought I would have crossed my mind when I woke up this morning. Yeah, and there'd probably be like a lot of like trying to free Giratina, like in Platinum. There would be a lot of people who were like, oh, my ankle. Oh, give me a sec. Or that like Hitler level evil. Who like try and free Giratina because it just would like give them power. In which case, you know, There's so many stories like that of like, you know, evil thing convinces someone that it's should be released, you know, XYZ. That was the new Yang Chin movie. No, not Yang Chin. That's that Avatar character. What is the Ten Ring stick, dude? Shang-Chi. You know, he just like didn't know the creature was evil, but at the same time, like, I don't really think it matters whether or not you like think you're doing something bad. Like, it's like, are you still doing something bad? Yeah, and it's like a lot of it's like as narrow-sighted as that seems, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you power, but you gotta be banned to the distortion realm. You know, as me thinking, being like, oh man, who would take that? Where it's like you get a little bit of like momentary, and then like you're stuck in the distortion realm for all of eternity. Is very much like, you know, pretty one-to-one with what happens in reality, where you're just like, all right, man, whatever. You know, I prefer you not do that. But I can't stop you from following the literal devil, besides just like trying to, you know, preach to you some, you know. That's the only thing that always like confused the living shit out of me. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's something that always confused me about like Satanism. It's like, you believe in the devil from the Bible, but you're still also like, no, 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 this is actually a good thing. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, even the devil and the Bible, he knows how the book ends, and he's called an idiot for it. It's like, you're a fool. Well, I guess people are stupid too. It just always baffles me. And I know, like, we make like small choices like that, you know, and we sin here or there, because like it happens. It's, you know, we have a sin nature, unfortunately, but like at the same time, to fully just like go for it and not like a, oh man, I tripped, but to like, oh, I'm gonna slam my face into the ground. You know, it just seems stupid. Then again, like, people also like do heroin and like do cocaine. Well, that's the like, I forgot what it is, what people would be called for when they're, there's some name of a, like, profession I'm forgetting, but how many times are you gonna hit yourself? Or it's like, if you want someone to do something, you don't just flat out tell them, like, come on, Gardevoir, depressing. You know, if you want someone to believe the like grass is purple, you don't tell them something obviously like wrong, that like, you know, like the grass is purple. you start with trying to, like, you know, twist, like, oh, well, what is really green, you know? Like, what's really green? You know? Like, to misrepresent the truth and to lie to try and get someone to do what you want are, like, two different things. They're both bad, but, like, how they're constructed is, like, two different things. Like, it's like a bus and a car. They're both meant to get people places, but they're wildly different. Like, even when he... I can't remember the exact verses. But, like, when he quoted scripture back to Jesus when Jesus was in the wild, you know, he didn't quote it exactly. He, like, you know, changed a word here, changed a little bit there, just, like, tried to, like, get it just twisted enough for what he wanted, you know? If I'm remembering that quite correctly. Unvi repels. Alright, let's do the lottery. Yes. But absolutely like a lotto ticket. I may. Can I at least get one number matched? I have yet to get one. Ugh, son of a bee. This is the wrong floor. Yeah, and like to a certain extent, there's a technical truth into it. Where like, they did in the fact that they then knew both good and evil. Nope, I want 10. Actually, I already have a shit ton of those. But they did also die, you know, where it's like, if you're trying to convince someone to buy drugs, you're not gonna tell them all the negative side effects. You're like, you're gonna be like, oh man, it's great, it's fantastic, you know. Like all those people you see always having fun, you'll be just like them, you know. Of course you will be. You know, you don't tell them like, oh yeah, no, you do this enough, your skin rots from the inside out, essentially. You're lonesome. We're about to go into a double battle. You got someone across from you. You've just been sitting here treading water, staring at her. Why do you have a Gyarados? I think depending on where I get, in an hour and a half, I might log off and try and get to bed a slight bit earlier because I am more tired than normal. Here, let me... Oh, dang it, it disappeared. Gonna make chat. Yeah, you know. It's the it's the people who say like, oh well, I didn't lie, I just didn't tell the truth. It's like, no, there's no in between there. And that's why it's you shall not like be a false witness or misrepresent the truth. It's not saying like what was it called? What was it? How did I phrase that to that one person I was talking to? Not being allowed to lie and always having to tell the truth are two very different things. You know? Are we still talking about Pokemon gods? I think we lost the plot on that one. Like Giratina, if we're talking about Pokemon gods, if we're not, no problem. I think I'm the only one that I know to be like actively malicious, because even Darkrai, which is like like very close, is usually just like oh thank god I can finally let Sky Uppercut. More just like misunderstood, just like a guy who kind of exists. Him being there makes it a not great time, but is not actively malicious. The same way that like in this game where it's like, you know, oh, people are like afraid of Absols because, you know, every time there's about to be a natural disaster, Absol goes to like, hey, there's gonna be one, so it shows up to try and warn people, but instead of people going like, oh, that's there, this is happening, it goes, oh, that's there, it's causing this. At least in response to Darkrai. Although, like, the Mega Darkrai from Legends EA is probably the scariest Pokemon design I've ever seen. Like, Pokemon designs aren't super scary. Yeah, correlation, not causation. But, like, the Darkrai one was like, oh, that's... It was real. It was really freaky. I think it was just like, it wasn't in isolation super freaky. I think it was the fact that like I'm playing a Pokemon game and the darkest they get is like, oh no, Giratina, you know. And then all of a sudden this giant black floating eye with tendrils were like, that's a Pokemon. You're like, that's a what? Oh good, I'm glad Chad's drowning. Very cool. There's a second. Alright. Yeah, be envious. I got a 6 Swampert. So I have an odd theory about the Pokedex, and that is that everyone treats the Pokedex like fact, but I think it's a lot closer to like stories of the Pokemon. Like, ew. Like the Pokedex is obviously like some type of artificial intelligence, especially when it gets a Rotom in it. Or I guess when it doesn't have a Rotom in it, because I guess Rotom would be regular intelligence, but it's not like I'm already at Moss Deep. Dang. But I think it's just like stories of it and not actually like it legitimately does this, you know? Like Drifloon, Dusk Noir, Spiritomb. And there might be some truth to it, but I don't think it's like a literal one-to-one, like if you see a Drifloon holding a child's hand, oh, it's gonna kidnap the child. Because it's got a lot of just like straight up like wrong. Yeah, it could absolutely just be pulling from older sources, which is kind of what I'm saying with, oh, now that there's a chat on, I can make this a little smaller. Where like, not quite Wives' Tales, but like kind of that idea. Or just like giving you information about like the creature, right? Like if it was gonna be like a husky, you know? It would probably talk about like, you know, Balto, sled dogs, like that type of thing, and kind of like the mythology or the mythos around, you know, what Balto did. But that's not to say that like that's every husky, or that just because it's a husky it can do that type of thing, where it's like some truth, some kind of not truth in there, if what I'm making makes even a ounce of sense. Sweet. Fire got here. I think I'm at end slightly early for tonight. I am fading fast. And I was like, oh, when I get to Moss Deep City, that'll take a little bit. I got to Moss Deep City in like 30 seconds. So I'll probably try, after I finish this battle, get back there and I'll be back tomorrow night. Yeah. Which is a weird thing that like Rotom was like kind of like a not super rare, but like at least somewhat rare. Like rare enough to the point where like if you're a kid who didn't know better, you'd be like, oh, this is obviously a legendary Pokemon or like a mythical Pokemon. You can only get one. It's got different forms. It's, you know, decently powerful like when it's in its forms. But it's just like, now they're just like, yeah, put it in the cell phones. Yeah, it would have to be using an AI. But there's also like, how much of what the Pokedex is doing with the Rotom in it is the Rotom And is the AI in there, or is it like a super like meshing of it, right? Because I'm trying to remember correctly, because I think there are some points in the anime where like the Rotom phone essentially like pitches a fit. And I'm guessing that's not like the Pokedex's AI being like, you know, whiny, but like the legitimate Rotom Pokemon. Also. All phones and all Pokedexes have Rotoms in them. We should see a lot more trainers with Rotoms. Like, there would now be like in your house like 4 or 5 Rotoms depending on like how many people live there, right? Which means that's a lot of Rotoms. Like that's a population boom of Rotoms. So there should be Rotoms everywhere. Right? But you never see Rotoms. It's only Rotom phones. Which I think is real odd. Steven's house. Okay. I'm going to go slightly earlier than I typically would, because I am super exhausted. And when I... Yeah, I could get it being like straight up trapped in there. But considering how many people are like very like pro Pokemon doesn't sound quite right, and PETA is a bunch of monsters who think they're doing good. Like very like conscientious of like Pokemon and Pokemon environments and treating Pokemon right. You would think if they found out that like, oh, if the Rotom gets stuck, goes into a phone, it's just straight stuck, and they have no way to get it out. You think there would be like some sort of like uproar about like, hey, maybe we should stop putting Pokemon in cell phones. Alright. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out. I am extremely tired. So I am going to log off a little bit early, 20 minutes, about 24 minutes earlier than typical. I will catch you here tomorrow. Or you can watch other VODs on my YouTube, which should be linked in my bio on Twitch. Again, thanks for coming out, talking about weird Pokemon stuff. I'm playing Pokemon right up the alley. So, good morning, good night, God bless, and goodbye. Thanks for stopping by.